Senate Democrats make some rather shocking admissions during the shutdown. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani wastes no time asking for money, and a Sydney Sweeney interview about apologizing for her jeans ad goes viral. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Friday, November 7th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. As we continue through the longest government shutdown in United States history, a couple of admissions on the floor of the Senate have quite a few turning their heads. First, Democrat Senator Peter Welch of Vermont made the case that it was Democrats' fault for not creating an Obamacare Affordable Care Act that was effective in lowering health care costs, despite the claims of Democrats and calls by Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the Senate Minority Leader and the House Minority Leader, to provide additional subsidies for that Obamacare to lower health care costs.
I owe you an answer on why it is I'm standing here today asking to extend something that was temporary. And here's the reason. We did fail to bring down the cost of health care.
Meanwhile, Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida put forward a bill onto the floor which would prevent congressional officials, representatives, and senators from being paid during a government shutdown, perhaps an incentive to reopen the government and pass a budget, which is one of the constitutional obligations of Congress. Instead, Senate Democrats blocked Rick Scott's measure to forego their salaries throughout the shutdown. Here was Senator Scott's response.
I rise today with my bipartisan and common sense no budget, no pay act. It's a simple proposal that says if members of Congress can't complete one of our basic jobs of funding the government, we shouldn't get paid. This shouldn't even be necessary. We should just do our jobs. But as we sit here over a month into the Democrat shutdown, it's clear we need something to hold Congress accountable. Every year we're tasked with putting together a budget with the expectation that it is on time and fits the needs of the American people. The American people elected us to come together. Look at what we're collecting in revenues and put together and pass 12 appropriation bills that use those dollars effectively. I was governor of Florida. Every year we pass a budget and we balance the budget. And we did it on time. The last time Congress passed all 12 appropriation bills on time was, what's your guess? 3 decades ago. Congress has failed time and time again to do its most basic job. I came to the Senate to fix this. I ran on a plan to make Washington work better for families, which included my No Budget, No Pay Act. And I've been fighting to get this passed since I got here in 2019, and I've been met with resistance from many of my colleagues since I got up here. But unfortunately, Democrats have thrived in the dysfunction and have fought endlessly to keep the status quo. They passed massive spending bills after massive spending bill, which has caused massive inflation in this country. They've raised taxes and expanded government. We have now Mr. President, how much debt do you think we have now? $38 trillion. We're running $2 trillion a year deficits. Now they're using the same dysfunction to shut down our government. They're prioritizing a liberal wish list of the needs of the American people. And they're more than happy, it seems, to deprive federal workers, TSA, FAA, and law enforcement of their paychecks, while members of Congress still get their own paychecks. Democrats are happy to stop 40 million people from getting their SNAP benefits. I just can't imagine, the little kids worried about where their meals are going to come tonight. These Democrats voting to shut down government are still getting paid. We should not get paid if we don't do our job. There's a problem with Washington. Any working American will tell you that if you don't do your job, you don't get paid, except here. Members of Congress consistently fail one of our basic duties of funding the government on time and still get a paycheck, even when others don't. Senate Democrats have now voted against funding the government 14 times in the last 5 weeks. They voted time and time again to continue the longest shutdown in our nation's history and stopping people from getting paid. But they're still getting paid. Democrats shouldn't be shutting down the government and risking others' paychecks without being in the same boat. I ask every one of my colleagues to support passage of my No Budget, No Pay to tell every member, do your job, fund the government, or do what other people end up doing, forego your taxpayer-funded salary.
And lastly, Senator Blumenthal got into a bit of a fight with Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin over decorum in committees and obstruction that has become common as the minority party, the Democrats, continue to provide procedural outliers and exceptions in order to stymie and stall particular procedures from going forward.
Republicans are refusing to extend enhanced tax credits because they hate the ACA more than they care about the pain that this move will inflict on families. Thank you.
So the ranking member has been incredibly disrespectful of these hearings. This is the fourth example of this. The rules allow for one witness from the minority unless they request an extra, and I've granted that request in the past. I had no idea that he was going to add another witness via video. After, I didn't really time it, but 8-9 minute opening statement, then adding another witness that he could have asked ahead of time. I probably would have granted the permission. He didn't do so. He probably had 3 or 4 more pages of his opening statement. He was going to filibuster for about 30 minutes. So that's what's happening here.
Well,
I wish I
had a half an hour more, but there's no way that I
Again, you are just being rude. As you've been rude as ranking member since I took over the chair. It's unfortunate, but I'd appreciate if you'd stop being rude, follow the norms of this committee, and if you want an extra witness, request it beforehand. And please keep your opening statements to a reasonable length of time.
Meanwhile, Democrat Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, wasted no time going before the populace of New York City and asking the same people who he claimed were living paycheck to paycheck and whom affordability was a key crisis for, to donate to his transition campaign.
You know, there were a few months ago where I told supporters across this city to stop donating. And today, I am asking them to start once again. And I am asking them to do so because of the fact that a transition that can meet the moment of preparing for January 1st is one that will require staff, it will require research, it will require infrastructure. And those are things that we will have to provide. And I'm excited for the fact that it will be funded by the very people who brought us to this point, the working people who have been left behind by the politics of the city.
Now, this raised a couple of eyebrows, mainly because Zohran Mamdani's supposedly grassroots campaign was actually funded in large part by the Council on American Islamic Relations, as was maybe accidentally stated by Linda Sarsour a day before the election. As a reminder, Zohran Mamdani had just gone on media to say that it would only be necessary to perhaps raise taxes on the 1% and maybe institute some rather high corporate taxes to fund his agenda. And lastly, a video by the popular model Sydney Sweeney going viral after GQ's Catherine Stoffel asked her about whether or not she was happy the president stood up for her and if that was perhaps her focus throughout the entire American Eagle Great Jeans ad controversy, and then followed up with a curious leading question as to whether or not she denounced people making jokes about great jeans. Check it out.
I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal. Mm-hmm. And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, you know, and conveniently some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
I don't think that, it's not that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
You've made a really good case for keeping your thoughts and your life separate from that work. But the risk is that, there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues and feel like, I don't want to see Christy because of that. Like, do you worry about that?
No.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like, that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And though you won't be joining us tonight, I'll level with you, I'm taking the night off. We will see you on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Take care.